Just me and the gun and the crook. My options had decreased to a singular course.
Alright guys, first of all, before we get into some real hot stuff, here's something that genuinely caught us off guard today. A little while ago, and I've been waiting for the right moment to talk about this one over here, is that Remedy, in case you guys didn't know, actually decided to go ahead and start a full development plan on remaking Max Payne 1 and 2. Remedy Entertainment announced this duo was Max Payne 1 and 2 and said it's coming to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PCs sometime next year. Check it out. Alright guys, in case you didn't know by now, the Epic Games Store not too long ago announced that the Unreal Engine 5 is now available to everybody, and ever since the announcement, people have been coming out left and right with some real insane ideas when it comes to some long-awaited remakes we've been waiting for. Now, as in the case of Resident Evil 4 though, which we've been dying to get an official remake announcement since Resident Evil 3 Remake, all we know right now is that Capcom could come up with that news any day now, and if that were to happen, we'd be looking at something like this. Maybe. Dead Space Remake, on the other hand, is slated to launch early next year and into PCs, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. The thing about Dead Space Remake, as I've mentioned maybe a dozen times earlier, this remake is literally being developed from the ground up and will include new story content, characters, better gameplay mechanics. It has a new voiceover on the characters and the environment, and basically everything is being remade. In case you have missed out on its developers' updates, here's a tiny bit of a surprise.
Oh my god!
Pushed to his limits, is capable of anything. When someone strikes at the ones he loves, he will take any steps necessary. He's looking for answers, for the truth.
Dad?
There is no walking away from us, Fisher. We made you, we own you, and we always will!
Guys, probably a couple of weeks ago, we did actually come across a few leaks that a Splinter Cell game is in the making and not acting as a sequel or a prequel, but a remake. Oh, just a tiny little bit after that announcement, Ubisoft also said that we're still in the very earliest stages of development for this remake. There is plans of a showcase for the project for later this year, they said, in addition to a few other projects that they have been supposedly in the making. We'll see.
Both of us, the people behind this, you can't hide from them.
Who said anything about hiding? What happens next is up to you.
Well, a little less than a month ago, we finally came across one of the most awaited announcements of the gaming industry since Cyberpunk 2077 was announced, and that was, in case you missed out, Witcher 4. Just a few days ago, then we heard the rumors that CD Projekt Red is also considering to have one of its Witcher games remade from the ground up in the following year. Highly likely Witcher 1. This is only rumored, however, nothing really that serious, so just keep it in mind. It's either gonna be Witcher 1 or 2 or both, and until CD Projekt Red announces this whole thing officially, we're just gonna have to wait a little while longer. Moving on.
Is a lie. That is what the Sith believe.
Well, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake, on the other hand, which is actually one of the most iconic classic role-playing games of some 20 years ago, something I personally never got to play by myself, is also making a comeback exclusively on the PlayStation 5 and then later on into PCs, with the intention of being a faithful 1-to-1 remake of the original game from the ground up. Check it out, this game is coming out to the consoles I mentioned earlier, either late 2022 or early next year. Now guys, as in the case of System Shock, well, y'all would know if you'd followed the development's plan since the start that the remastered version of this game has been through a long and hard road so far, and it also goes back to more than 6 years ago. See, the original System Shock from 20 years ago was one of those games that kind of ended up defining adventure first-person shooters, in which case you're actually new to, this might just be the perfect opportunity to get to know about it as well. Check it out.
This is a story 1,000 times told, although I'm sure there's always room for one more.
For those of you who were wondering through all these years, earlier this year THQ Nordic did actually set up a new studio through which they said they would handle Gothic Remake, another one of the genre-defining role-playing games that came our way some 20 years ago. With that said, however, Gothic Remake is now in development for the next generation of consoles and PCs only. It's being remade from the ground up as well, with a modernized combat system and of course a lot more. Check it out and make sure to stay tuned for a precise release date for this game. Coming up next, it is 1988's Dragon Quest III Remake. Now this is a kind of remake that will now render in an HD 2D style of other hit games of this year, such as Triangle Strategy, hopefully you're familiar with that one. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, well, for those of you wondering, was announced last year. The game is apparently set to come our way once again later this year with a release window at last, and what we do know now is that it is actually coming to all consoles and PCs in addition to the Nintendo Switch. Check it out.
Is a marvel no living man has ever seen. Only the dagger can unlock the sands of time.
No! Stop!
No!
Then we have Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, for which Ubisoft came out and said last year that the game has been delayed once again and now expected to release sometime between mid-2022 to early next year. The Sands of Time remake is being developed by Ubisoft Mumbai, which is based in India. We know it'll feature some new designs, better graphics of course, new voices and soundtracks, basically everything. In case you're wondering, this game is actually coming to basically every single platform out there, including the Nintendo Switch.
I brought this on us.
You are brave and courage.
Don't let go!
Quaco Lucia.
Coming up behind that, we've got Advance Wars, not just one, but two, going by Reboot Camp, which is basically Nintendo's one of the most addictive turn-based strategy games that date back to more than 20 years ago. Personally speaking, one of my favorite games of all time. I've got great memories with this game, and it is now coming our way with both their campaigns and multiplayer. Check it out, the much awaited duo over here now comes to the hybrid console only in about a month from now, we hear.
Thrilling stories, memorable characters, and vibrant gameplay are in store as you lead the commanding officers to victory. Play the first 2 Advance Wars campaigns in Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, marching on to Nintendo Switch this holiday. Pre-orders begin today.
Alright, Fear Effect Reinvented, as of this moment, doesn't have a release date nor a window, still, even though it's been in development since 2018. In case you are new to this game, it is a horror adventure game, originally released more than 20 years ago also, and this time around it'll come our way with improved graphics of course, and some better controls as well. Check it out, those of you been waiting, this game is still in development apparently, and word has it we're getting more on this one sometime later this year.
Trusted that sausage chewing motherfucker anyhow. How do you want it done?
And last but not least, it is the one and only Kingpin Reloaded, a remastered version of the old first-person shooter Kingpin from more than 20 years ago. We're talking about one of the weirdest and unforgettable shooters of its time, literally one of the longest awaited 3D Realms games in the making since announcement. However, last year this game also got pushed back to a later date. Hopefully it'll eventually come out in about a month or two from now. Check it out anyway.